Hello, hello, how are you today? This is Jilly Bling. Today's project is absolutely lovely. I saw this on Pinterest. Laura Seki, I hope I'm saying her name correctly, S-E-K-I, made this project, and it is a spanner fold. So what it means is spanner, S-P-A-N-N-E-R. This piece right here spans between these two sidewalls. So there's that. And just like that. Isn't that cute? See how that is? Just fun. Okay, so we will be using, this is the first in 5, and this is a Gotta Have It GHI project, where if you buy the bundle from me, I love to send you card kits for the 5 cards upcoming. This is the first one. Using Season of Chic, and there's designer paper and dies that go with the stamp set. And what's nice about this stamp set is it has flowers, seashells, snowflakes, and leaves. It has great words and 3 background stamps. So for this project, I pulled in 1 additional stamp set, and it is Friends Are Like Seashells. And that's mostly just to get this 1 additional seashell, which I love. But the words in this are great too. Okay, let's get started. So I have my cutter score. This I'll show you why in just a minute. I'll start with a little template. So the template just tells you where to cut. Not that it's all that hard, but sometimes it's just nice to have something in front of you physically to hold on to. So we're going to fold the paper in half and then cut 1 inch in from the bottom right up to the score line. So that is on this pool party paper. And after I get all 5 of the projects complete, I'll put a post on my blog, and my blog is jillybling.com, and that will include the sizes to cut the paper. Okay, so this is pool party. And just like the little template says, we're going to cut in, this is 1 inch wide. So I take this and I'm going right up here to 1 inch. I don't know if you could see that or if it's off the top, off the edge. One inch. And I cut a little bit too far over the score line, but it doesn't matter, it's okay. And then I'm going to do this right here at 1 inch. Okay, so that's all we need this for. So here are the 2 cuts. And like I said, I went a little bit over the score line, but it doesn't matter. In the end, it's fine. Seashells Embossing Folder. We'll use that in just a minute. This is going to be, this vellum is for, there are 2 different size vellums. One of them is for this piece right here, which is a very interesting little detail. I'm loving it. And then another one is for the seashell. So here are all the dies. So this one, so there's, I don't know if you could see the 2 different sizes, but the larger, the square one, and I just need a portion of this, kind of like a, that's like a major hashtag. There's probably a word for what this shape is, but this kind of grid, we'll cut that out. And I have that right here. And then this one is for that seashell. Just a minute, let me find the other paper. This is the other paper for the seashells. So on here I have 3 of this traditional type seashell, and get 2 of them on the pool party paper and 1 of them on the vellum. So might as well do that since we're talking about it. Okay. So vellum, pool party, excuse me, on pool party. That's for one of them. And then the others are going to be done in the Versamark. Okay, get that cleaned off. And Versamark for this one. And then Versamark for the vellum. And everything is embossed in gold. There's one of them, and we'll heat set that in just a minute. And we'll use more of this for the inside. Okay, and there are dies, a die for that. So I will cut out all three of these with that one die. Here they are. At this point, we're just collecting elements. What else we got over here? Looking at this pile of stuff. Oh, I know where this one goes. I'll attach that. That goes right here in the middle. Okay. And then, let's see, this white is for the these seashells, for this one and that. So this one is a die right here. That little one. And then this, look at all that it cuts out. But this one right here, I just want that one. So I'll put this here just to get that one seashell. Okay, and you're like, well, that doesn't look like a seashell. But I just put the paper on like this, and it cut out the little side bits, but I could easily trim those. But before I trim them, let me show you the embossing folder, because see how this one has the texture on it? That came from right here. Let me see, can you see the seashell texture? So I will put this right over the top. Might be easier to do it from this side. There it is, I could see that clearly. So I'm just getting the paper underneath the imprint, the impression of that seashell. Kind of hold it like right down here. Close the door. Okay, I'm going to run it through the embossing folder to get the texture on there. So here it is with the texture. And I'm going to trim off all these little extra pieces because I don't need those. There's that little one. Oh, where's my snips? I think I have an extra pair right here. So I'm going to trim maybe a little bit close to the seashell because I don't want any of this little extra stuff showing. And it doesn't have to be perfect, just so you know what kind of seashell that is. Okay, and you're probably saying, well, that's a pretty seashell. It's kind of white. So to give it a little bit of definition, I'm going to use a sponge dauber. Let me see how much is on here right now, because it doesn't take much. There's nothing on there. So I'm going to test it first. See, that's a little bit heavy. So I'm going to go really lightly right along the edge. So now you can see that I went along the edge. And then to accentuate some of this detail, I'm going to go really soft. Just because if you did it like full on or heavy, it would be too strong of color. The less color on here, the softer the sponging is. So just a little bit because it's so pretty. Okay, just leave it like that. Okay, so let's see, where are we? We have a pile of shells. So, oh, you know what? Notice on here the texture. So remember how we cut this at 1 inch? So I'm going to cut a piece that's 1 inch by 4 1/4. This one is the same, 1 inch by 4 1/4. And might as well make this one because there's a little bit of texture down here too. So I should have 4 pieces. 4 pieces. So it's for 1, 2, 3, and then a 4th one just to make it a little bit stronger and hold together. So 4 pieces, and I'm going to texture 3 of them. So in that embossing folder, just choose 3 areas that you like. And I'm thinking this, because I kind of like the ferns, the soft look of them. So right there, and here's another one of the ferns. Oh, and there's a seaweed too. So maybe I'll just put it on like this. And you know, in the end, you really don't see too much of it, but you and I, we know how pretty it is. And it doesn't have to be straight because it's a really random pattern. Okay, so I'm going to run this through my machine. And here they are. Oh, you know, I could even, where's that dauber? Kind of accentuate them a little bit. I don't want to do too much because I don't want them to stand out too much. I want it to just be a little bit of a background. But I think it's a little bit nice. Just kind of showing off all these little patterns. Kind of wish I thought about that the first time around. The ink is running out. probably could kind of get in there and add a little bit to the sample, because I really like how this looks. It's already a little bit busy though. So look at those. Just a little bit. Well, that's good. I really like this one. Okay. So, you know how I said I did 3 of them with the texture and 1 of them without the texture? The one without the texture is here. So see how all these have no texture on them? Okay, let's see. Let's start putting together the card front. So we have our 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. And that one. Okay, so I'm going to start with this one with no texture on it, and I'm going to put glue. Let me put this under here so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to put glue right here and right here, because this part is going to span. Just a little bit of glue, because I don't like to wait for it to dry. I'm too impatient. Then I'll put some on here too. That should hold it. And this doesn't have to be on here perfectly. Just try to make sure it's down at the bottom. So I'm just trying to make sure that the bottom of the card is flat. And if this amount over here is bigger, which it is than that side, it's no problem. And then next piece, I'll put this one on, just because I think it would look good if this kind of covers it up. And there's going to be a big shell here, so it doesn't matter. Any order you put them on, it's just fine. So put this here, right along the edge to hold the panel on top. A little bit there. And this one, just have it so it's here against the bottom. This is all flat. So, see how that's all flat, no texture? And now the next piece is to put this on here and this one on here. Right there on the edge, up here a bit. And because there's like 2 pieces of paper and then it goes flat, I'm going to put a little bit of glue through here. Okay, and then just layer it right on top. And if the paper wasn't cut exactly perfect, which it probably isn't, I could see that I'm going to have to trim that, but I'm just going to let it dry. And then I'll take my snips and just trim that right there. Okay, same for this side. Okay, and I'm making sure that those are level up there and level here. And I'm fine if I have to do some trimming, but I'll wait for it to dry. Okay. It's getting there. Okay, these are inside papers. And oh, this is a cool dye. I didn't tell you what dyes. Look at that seaweed dye. So the dyes are Chic, Delicate Edges, which is where this seaweed dye came from. Delicate Edges. And then Stylish Shapes are for this square, the stitched square. And then Seaside Shells, which is for this shell right here. And that's it. And if you're looking in my little bucket and you're like, I see some copper ones, these are to cut the squares, but you can cut them on your paper cutter. And I'll show you what, or on my blog post, I'll tell you what sizes to cut these. Okay, so we'll get to that in just a minute. So let me do this thing. I love this seaweed dye. Look at that. And can you see the texture on it? The only thing is it's too big. So to trim it, see how there's these pieces? I'm going to cut it right here. I'm going to make this look like, here, when I put it on the white paper in just a minute, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm trying to make it look like the end of seaweed, but I know it's going to be covered, so don't worry if it's not perfect. Okay, so that kind of looks like the end of seaweed. But if I put this one back behind it, it gets a little bit busy and you don't notice that tip so much. So that will go on the inside. Just a minute. Let's build the front first. Oh, so for these, on the white, I want to stamp the words, wishing you the best birthday. And I'm going to do that in soft suede. Wishing you the best birthday ever. Just like that. Okay, so that's the Stylish Shapes. So I'm going to cut these pieces. And here they are. So if ever you have a die that cuts, but see all this right here on the edge, just have a nail file handy. And if you just kind of brush along there, it will take off any of that little extra, like that kind of stuff. We don't want that. When we get our nails done, the guy is always like, oh, you need a new one. I'm like, what's wrong with that one? You've used it once or twice. Like, here, give it to me. Like, if this didn't have all these colors on the end, it's perfectly good. They're picky about their nail files. Anyhow, you could use one of those that's just about to be thrown away for this. This one lives in my craft tote. Okay, so that one's looking good. And this one came out fine. Oh, and this paper is just so pretty. This paper, hold on. Look how pretty this is. Look at the seashells. It's perfect for this project. This one I think has the snowflakes on it. Oh no, that's the one we just used. But it all goes together so well. Isn't that pretty? But the one with the seashells on it has polka dots on the back. I want to use this over and over so much I just about didn't use it as the seashells because I'm trying to hoard it because of the polka dots. Little out of control there. Okay, back on task. So this one is going to go on here, and I'm going to put dimensionals on it, on the underside of it, just to raise it up a little bit. Okay, right in the middle. Isn't that pretty? But I love Pool Party. And then this one can go on just flat. Oh, the polka dots. You see, I save these things, and then do I use them? No, I just have to save it. I have so much paper, it's crazy. Then next is, oh, this piece here, I'm going to trim it a little bit because, can you see the size of it? I'm going to trim it just a bit so there's just a little bit of overhang. So you could just take, and it's a very random pattern. So you could cut them flat, or maybe go in a little bit. Because if you try to mimic this pattern on here, it's just very random, which is convenient for us. I'll do this one flat, flat, and then a little bit of a rounded end. Okay, and then to put it on, it could be angled, or I think angled is good. So start out by just putting a little bit of adhesive, putting it where you want it. And I know that my words are going to go right here, so I'm fine if it's a little bit sticky under there. And these dimensionals underneath the words are going to help hold that little netting down. And see, that's kind of curling up. Put that right in the middle. And then, if you want, you could supplement this with a little bit of glue. And remember, the glue dries clear, so even if you are a crazy gluer, it will dry clear. No one will see it. But the glue makes it kind of curl up. So I'm going to set that off to the side and work on the shells a little bit. It's going to hold it down. Okay, just hold on right there. So we have that shell, this shell, this one, which is right here. I'm going to sponge around the outside edge to give it a little definition. And then also on this gold embossed shell, I'm going to also sponge around the outside edge. So let's see how much Pool Party is still on here. It needs more ink. So when I put this down, can you tell this half has the dauber on it? That half doesn't. That just looks like plain flat paper. But with the sponging, the dauber, it makes it look a little bit more 3D. I think it does. I love my daubers. Okay, so that one is done, and then, what did I say, this gold one? There's also this leaf, or shell, but I don't think that I tried to use the dauber sponging on it, and the ink doesn't really want to stick to the vellum. So, no need to do that. Oh, and then speaking of shells, in the dies, there's these shells. And I'm like, that looks like a balloon. But I tried them on some scratch paper I had, and this is what they come out like. So I'm sure that there's something just lovely you can do with them, but I'm not, this one perfectly fits over that. But I'm not quite sure yet what to do with them. But there's more shells, and I just haven't figured it out yet. That could be the next project. Okay. So we have the shells done. Oh, this piece here, I think I want to do the dauber on that a little bit. And it's hiding in here. Definitely the ends. And just choose a few areas you want to do and put a little darker color on them. And if you happen to kind of ruffle up and wrinkle up your seaweed, it's okay. It makes it look a little more authentic. So this weekend, Michaela tried on some wedding dresses, and I got invited. I was so happy. I never wanted to assume anything. I want to be a good mother-in-law. And she is just a beautiful girl. Everything she came out in was just, she's just beautiful. So that was fun. And there was two in the end that she liked. And the girl, I know she wanted, the saleswoman really wanted her to buy them. She goes, is this a yes? So on the right side was everything. And then it became the no side. And then the left side was where the yeses got hung. And she had two over there in her yes pile. But Michaela's like, well, I'm just getting started. I'm not quite sure. But she looks beautiful in everything. So that was fun. And many years ago when I got married, gosh, it's been 35 years. Oh, I didn't trim these. You would just go to a cake place and you would pick out what you wanted it to look like, and they would just tell you, these are your 2 or 3 choices. What do you want? And most brides did white. But the place that these guys are going, Sweet Life here in town, they're like, okay, here's the list, and they have like 25 or 30 to choose from. And the descriptions, I mean, you want them all, and you want to forget about dinner. You just want to eat cake, because everything that they have on there looks really good. And they're like, well, pick out a few, and we'll put together a sampler box for you. And then you can pick from the sampler box after you try it and let us know what cake you want. So guess what we're doing next weekend? We were going to do it today for family dinner, but that wasn't enough time for them to get the cakes together. So she says, I couldn't decide. So I think she picked like 6 of them. And next family dinner, even Grandma's coming. We're going to, Michaela's grandma, we're going to try these cakes. So that's all that I trimmed off of there, not very much. And I don't know if they don't have to listen to us what we all think, but that's going to be so fun. And then today we went to the, oh, and I cut off that too. we went to the wedding venue and looked around there, got ideas, but it's like it's starting to happen. And then because they were here a little bit early, before family dinner, we started working on her save the date cards. We got all the paper cut. So, very exciting. And I'm thrilled to be part of it. I don't know, when we were doing it, Tony and I, we did, or I guess I did everything. I didn't have much input from anyone. It was just the two of us, just getting it done. Okay, so this little shell, I'm just going to put on with glue. Oh, and then all of those little sequins and stuff. Wait till I show you that. Okay, there's that. So this one, I started putting sequins everywhere. So this one has dimensionals here and glue up there. So dimensionals underneath, and you know what? Maybe I should use these big ones. I'm going to use minis. Because see how that solid embossing powder? Vellum is tricky to stick down. Because the dimensionals you could see through, but because it's solid embossing powder, I think it's going to be just fine. And then a little bit of glue here on the end. Okay. Well, that one hangs over more. That's okay. We're getting there, huh? So for the inside, it's time to heat emboss. So I'm going to heat emboss the love you. Because out here it's wishing you the best birthday ever. And then on the inside, like if this was Michaela's birthday, just simple, love you, gift card. That would be good. Okay, so in here, oh, and then all these little freckles. So see on here how there is this little splatter freckles, which I think is very similar to these. The embossing folder puts little dots, and then also the scattering of the sequins, which look like baby shells. I think this is very similar to that. That one is a little bit more, I don't know, but going to use just this one. So, Versamark, love you. Hopefully I could stamp it straight. Okay. And then freckles. Freckles. Random. And it's funny, you can't see anything. Versamark is clear on white paper. So, I'm just hoping I'm doing it okay. This one's going to be behind the seaweed. Okay, that's good. Now into the gold powder to see what I really did. What did I really stamp? I stamped a lot, probably more than I planned, but that's okay. I like sparkle. You know what? I think I stamped too far over here because I think a shell goes there. A shell goes there and I didn't leave room. Well, let's wing it. Let's just see what happens. And I'll push maybe a little extra hard. Where's that shell? Bubbly side, rinse side. Okay, so right here in the corner. Okay, here we go. Work. Oh, it worked. Who knew? And then a little bit of the daubering, just because, let me show you the difference with and without. No daubering. This one I did a little bit just to accentuate it a bit. But if you like it like that, you could just leave it. It kind of, like if you have a big open concept house, how you have to have carpets to identify the different zones. I'm identifying this is shell zone. Okay, just like that. And this could go onto the soft succulent paper. And since I'm on a roll, soft succulent could go on the inside. Right in the middle. Right in the middle. And this could go right here. And I'll put that on with liquid glue. The inside I usually try not to put dimensionals, but lately I've been doing dimensionals. A little bit, here and there. The next seaweed could get the dimensionals. Doesn't that look good? It's so fitting for this card. And then, how about I figure out where to put the dimensionals, and it's just thin little strips of seaweed, so I have to cut this in half. So maybe one here. And then right here, then maybe a full one right there. Yeah, that will hold a full one. And then liquid glue down here. And then this, see how that looks kind of like a fish mouth? Because I was worried about making this look like a seaweed end. This piece right here is going to cover up that. Somewhat. So it's just kind of two layers of seaweed. Okay, so the inside looks good. We need sequins. Okay, sequins. Oh. So this is my second box of these. So in the catalog, for everything fancy sequins, this is new to the annual catalog. And when I saw that they were selling sequins, for $15. First I thought they were $18. $15. I thought, how can sequins cost that much? When they came, my first box in early May, and I opened them up, there's 3 packages. So that's only $5 each. That's pretty good. And look how much there is. Okay, and if you think, well, that's really nice. Well, you'd want all these colors go with this paper, everything. Wait till you see what's in here. You would think, okay, sequins. Oh, I see a few pearls. But there are some beautiful little gems in here. Okay, so this is going to be a little excessive, but we're pretending like it's additional little gems that you would find on the beach. So yeah, it's excessive, but it looks good. So it's probably going to take too long, but they're so pretty, and I'm trying not to do them all in an order. I want it to be random, and I'll put some on the inside too. You know what, I'll do just a few here, wrap it up, finish it, and then when I take the picture you could see them all. But it will be just like that. Like, look at these. See how these are a little bit iridescent and glittery? These here are iridescent. There's gold ones in there. There's the iridescent rhinestones. This blue metallic is beautiful. There's silver in here. There's these little hexagons, but it's all so pretty, so sparkly, so perfect for this card. Look at how they're even through here. Yeah. Mama didn't name me Bling for nothing. So I'm just going to pick up a few of them. And I won't have you wait through all this. Oh, there was one underneath it. That's fine. But these are just so pretty. So if you're ever thinking about, what are those? Should I give them a try? Yes, yes, yes. It's so worth it. This is my second bunch of them. My first bunch, it's being busy in some project somewhere. So I got another one because I love them. I'm going to do half blue and half green. And wherever there's a sequin with a hole, I'm going to go back and put just a little dab of glue through the hole again, just because I don't want it to come off. Maybe some blue ones. Oh, I like this blue metallic. Okay, there's 2 big ones next to each other. I probably shouldn't do that, but that's okay. I guess I'll have to just put more on there. Gold one. Oh, that's a rhinestone. They're so pretty. So, someone asked me, what's your favorite thing in the catalog? I think it might be this. And every time I pick out something, it's different than what I just picked out. And there's just a hint of glue on the end of my snips, which is what is picking up all these little pieces. Okay, so that's it for this project. And after I have all 5 of them done, I will post the paper cut sizes and photos of the inside and out and close-up photos. But thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a great day. And until next time, bye.